You don't need Netflix, you don't need cable. Hop on YouTube, welcome to the hood table. Where we chop up local and globally, been vocally. You don't really wanna miss out on these conversations. Just joke a little, laugh a little. Get that wine in your system, fill your glass a little. Expose current events, talk, crash a little. You never know, these opinions might clash a little. Get addicted to the content, got them binge watching. Don't like it, think you want invited. Bet your friends watching in the house and your job parking lot before you clocking. I don't wanna miss it, talking, but it's HD content. Everybody think they got something to say, so it's an open invitation, bring it to the table. But if you come whack, there's no real buying in. We gon' probably turn it back until you start dropping in, Yeah, welcome to the hood table. You don't need Netflix, you don't need cable. Yeah, welcome to the hood table. You don't need Netflix, you don't need cable.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Hood Table one more again. Make sure on your way in you hit the like button and you also hit the share button and you also subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed to the channel. We have a special guest here tonight that I will be interviewing and speaking with on several different topics of discussion tonight. And I would like you to go ahead and introduce yourself, please.
Hi, my name is Tracey Richardson. I'm a retired sergeant, 25 years with the Houston Police Department. Thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you. And thank you for coming on the show tonight. I really, really appreciate you taking the time out to come sit with us on the Hood Table tonight. Now, some of the things that we're going to be discussing tonight goes around like some of the police brutality cases that's been going on lately, especially with George Floyd. And I don't know if you heard, but just today, they said that those three men in the case of Ahmaud Arbery's shooting, they were hit with murder indictment charges. And that is really big right now for, the people and their families. But a lot of people is looking at it like, okay, that don't mean, they'll be charged or go to jail or anything like that. So first of all, I want your take on a lot of these police brutality cases that have been going on. George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, and so many others.
Well, I tell you, on the 23rd of this month, which I think was Tuesday, that was the 30-year anniversary of me graduating from the police academy.
Oh, wow.
And so one of my classmates posted on Facebook about, in 1990 when we graduated, how policing was different. It was community-based policing was big then. Yes. And we graduated at a church, a Baptist church in the neighborhood here in Houston. And the focus was just much different then as far as how police dealt with people, as far as the police brutality cases. And he made a point that, the one thing every good cop hates is a bad cop. And I agree with that. I've been retired out of law enforcement since 2016, so 4 years now. And it's really very sad because in most instances, I do not see from the videos that I watch, and I don't watch a lot of them, and I don't watch a lot of the news because it's just all bad news. But and you really don't like to get into what they call Monday morning quarterbacking, because I wasn't the officer, I wasn't there. But in most cases, those officers overreacted. They did not follow their training. I worked at the police academy for 3 or 4 years. They did not follow any training. They did not couldn't be following no police department in America's policies in how they treat the prisoners or the people that they're coming in contact with, because it's just not necessary. It does not take all that. But what I did notice as a police officer working at the police academy was that the recruits and I can only speak for myself. When I was a recruit, I didn't have sense enough to be scared, which is, I guess, why I could make it 25 years.
Yeah.
But the newer recruits, I'm not sure why they come into the profession, but they are afraid. And fear will make you do things that you would not do. And so your training goes out the window because it's the whole fight or flight thing.
Exactly.
And take over, and you just forget what they trained you. And sometimes when they show the officers, they're like, when it happens quickly, not that 8 minutes and 46 seconds Floyd thing, but when it happens quickly, the officers are surprised themselves that they reacted like that, because they're like, oh my God, I'm in really big trouble because that's not what I was supposed to do. And so I don't know. It's a sad day for law enforcement, for sure.
I agree. It's a sad day for law enforcement, for the families of the victims, for the community in general.
Right.
You said you had retired about 4 years ago. What was it that made you want to decide to make, the police force your career?
Well, actually, the truth of the matter is, I was a paralegal, and I was supposed to go to law school, and but I got married, and my husband at the time was a police officer in Kansas City. And then he joined the FBI, and so we found ourselves in Houston, and I was like, I had went to the police academy with him in Kansas City, and I was like, oh, that's easy. I can do that.
Yeah.
So to Houston, this officer would come in the bank, because I had left the paralegal job and was a branch manager at a bank, and the officer was coming in. He's like, oh, they're hiring police officers and they're looking for females, so you should apply. Well, it was simple mathematics. They paid twice as much as what the bank paid.
Oh, yeah. And your husband's already in the law too, so
right. So I was like, okay, I can do this. So
power couple.
The rest was history, but and I will say, it's not for everybody, but it was a good career for me. It allowed me to move around in the department and do a lot of things that I maybe wouldn't have done. And since it was a non-traditional position for a female, and I did have college background and some sense, it did make for a good career choice. And I'm sure there's a lot of things in law enforcement I could be doing right now, but I just don't. I took a different I had a different path after retirement. So I do real estate, but it was a good career, and I've tried to encourage other females to be, to stay in it and to even explore it, because shift work, and it's male dominated, but there are a lot more female chiefs, a lot more female captains, a lot more females in the business altogether. There was 2 females in my class, actually 3. One got fired, but 2 females in my class, and now sometimes it's 10 or 12 females in the class. So
I was going to ask you what percentage of, in your experience, was generally the female versus male policemen, or in your field, or in your, should I say, your station?
So there wasn't a lot of females. It wasn't a lot. I mean, like I say, it was 2 in my class. But every year here in Houston, we have a retired females luncheon. And so there's a lot of us. It's probably 70 of us that come.
Oh, that's cool.
And so it's really, really cool. Even from from way back to, some of them like, oh, we remember that person when they was a rookie. Like, oh, you retired already? So it's like, the time just flies, but it's a really nice time to see other females that have made it through, and we can come back and enjoy each other for that day, for that luncheon. And,
that's really nice. How often does that happen? You said
we do that once a year.
Once a year. Okay.
Yeah. So
that's nice.
It's pretty nice.
Kind of like a reunion,
reunion of all the female police officers that anybody can think of what their email address is, to invite them, and they come and have I think it's a $10 lunch or something that somebody sponsors, and we have a good time for 3-4 hours, and then we give, like we do, Dress for Success, and bring purses and stuff, and donate to other organizations that are helping females, and it's really nice. So
that's really nice. And then at the same time, you're giving back to the community. So
exactly.
You're not only enjoying each other, but this community service involved. That's really nice. That's really nice. I wanted to ask you, when you were on the force, looking back to when you were wearing a badge, do you believe that overall, like the frequency of crime and intensity of crime rates were much better than when you first started or now?
Well, you know, you talk to the people that are still on the streets, and it's some stations are, they're running call to call to call, and they've always run call to call to call, and some, not so much. So in Houston anyway, it's a matter of where you police.
Okay.
Some are really busy, some are not so busy. And yeah, back then it was busy too. I rode by myself on evening shift and nights, and
Oh, really?
it was, sometimes it was busy, sometimes it wasn't. It's just a matter of, what day of the week it was. The weekend, yeah, it's gonna be busy.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that. Like,
and all that. So
you said you rode by yourself. So something you mentioned earlier before about how a lot of police officers, you don't think they're actually prepared or ready to join the force. A lot of them might be intimidated or scared when dealing with people in the community. So, I mean, what was that like out there riding by yourself? I mean, with nobody, with you, if you had to
like I said, I told you earlier, I didn't have sense enough to be afraid, which I guess was good. That's how I could stay. But I mean, I can remember a time or two, and I'm responding to shots fired, and I'm going to the call, and I'm like, oh Lord, really? Shots fired, and I got to run over there? Like, I had that moment, and I got on the radio and did what I had to do. But
well, did it have something to do with like your upbringing or where you came from or your community? Like, I'm the kind of person who grew up in North Omaha in the hood, still live in the hood. So you know how some people be like, "Oh, don't go over there, don't go over there, don't go over there," and I'm that kind of person. Always been like, I go wherever I want. I don't, like I ain't scared.
Right. And see, when I grew up in Omaha, it wasn't North Omaha; it was just Omaha. Now it's North Omaha. Right. South Omaha was always South Omaha, but Omaha was just Omaha.
Omaha, yeah.
Out west was something, but so maybe it's the North Omaha thing. But I'm like you. I was just like, I'll just go wherever I'm gonna go. I don't.
Right.
So, but I guess it was. Maybe it was I wasn't afraid because I felt like I had been trained, and equipped with what I needed, so I could, handle the situations. But maybe that's just, grace or I don't know. But because I rode with an officer before, and he was afraid, and we went to a disturbance, and he had the people surrounding. They did surround us, but they weren't being violent. He got on the radio and called an assist. I told him, man, you gonna get us shot. Right. This is not no situation for no assist. I'm the one that handcuffed the guy. Why you calling the assist?
and I'm glad you mentioned
that. The guy was not even resisting or nothing. He was drunk, but he wasn't giving me no problem. The people, they was having a picnic or something, and everybody, he was drunk. And I had told him, man, you turn around, put your hands behind your back. We going. Yeah. He's like, okay. And all the people were saying was, what's going on? Where are you taking him? Where are you taking him? And so I told him, and we was just all walking quietly to the car. Yeah. This fool with me.
Overreacting.
A scared white guy overreacted because the black people were surrounding him, and he dropped an assist. By the time I get to the police car, I hear sirens, and I'm like, what the heck is going on?
And that can sometimes make it worse.
And I get on the radio and say, slow everybody down. There is nothing going on over here. They jumping out the car. They're like, you okay? You okay? Back then, my name was Shipley. They're like, you okay? You okay, Shipley? I'm like, I am fine, but y'all gonna have to pull me off of him because I'm gonna be the one beating him for calling the assist. We gonna get hurt.
I know, because that could make things worse. And you notice, like, a lot of the police brutality, who is it from? It's from generally the males.
Right.
Way more than the females.
Because they're aggressive, they machismo, they gotta prove something. And it is a proven statistic in law enforcement that women are better police officers because we're not going to try to use brute force, and we will talk to people and try to discuss.
Exactly.
And I will say at the end of the day, all people really want is to be heard.
Yeah.
They want to tell their side of the story to somebody, even if they got to go to jail. They want to tell their side of the story.
Right.
And then, it's just, then they'll be okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And it'll probably run much more smoothly on those
Right.
on those
Right.
shows. Now, looking back at Rodney King, a lot of people, every time this stuff happens in our communities, everybody always brings it back to Rodney King.
Right.
Do you think that the frequency of police brutality was happening more back then or less than it is today? Because to me and some people, it seems like, are we really even getting anywhere?
Well, I'm not sure it happens anymore or any less. What I think is that it's just more intense. It's like it, and I was talking to somebody about this earlier today. It's like if you did something wrong or you fight the police or you run from the police, okay, the police gonna beat you up, but they're not gonna kill you.
Yes.
They're gonna kill you. Y'all gonna fight a little bit. Like a friend of mine talk about, you play cops and robbers. You the robber, I'm the cop. I catch you today, put you in jail. If they let you out, then I'm gonna catch you tomorrow.
Right.
And we all keep a job.
Right.
But we don't kill people.
Yeah.
You take that protect and serve, to heart. Who are you protecting?
Right.
You can't protect. You can't protect them if you're the one killing them.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I remember scenes when I've been and we'll go chase somebody and they catch them. I'm like, okay, it's time for us to go.
Right.
It's time for us to clear this scene because
I don't think police like chasing anymore. Like back in the day, that was always the thing, even on TV shows. The police chasing them, jumping over fences, all that kind of stuff. It's like nowadays they just want to tase.
Well, they would chase them in the car even.
Yeah.
But once they catch them, they mad and they won't beat them up. But they're not going to kill them. That was not the police department that I worked or grew up in.
Yeah, my boy. I'm telling you one thing. I mean,
they might have a black eye or a bloody lip, but they was not gonna go to deadly force.
Right. And I'm sure there are a lot of people who wish that they would have got beat up on instead of murder. And
that's why I say it's something in the officers that they're recruiting that they are just so afraid. Of course, another school of thought is that we didn't just fill the police departments with a bunch of racists and this is just their other plan B for taking out black people.
Right.
So whichever one you subscribe to. But what I noticed when I worked at the police academy was that recruits are just a lot more afraid of police work in general and dealing with the people because they don't know the people. They never been around black people.
Why don't they just get a desk job? Why don't they just be a security guard or a bouncer at a club? Like, I don't get it. Like, you can tell that they're scared because it's too many strong reactions to small movements.
Right.
Like, sometimes it be people saying, okay, I'm going for my phone. Like, I seen this video of this guy and the police kept saying, take your hand off the steering wheel. And the dude was scared. He was so terrified. He was like, I'm scared if I take my hands off the steering wheel, you're going to kill me. Are you going to kill me? He just kept asking them, are you going to kill me?
Right.
And I mean, it's terrifying.
It is.
Over.
It is. I had an officer stop me probably a month or so ago. I need to go to that ticket before they come arrest me. But anyway. And he must have been scared. Just me. Little on me. It was at night. And he must have got on the radio and about 4 other officers came on over there. He took me out the car and everything. And I'm like, what? Claim I was not staying in my lane. I was like, how you know? I was way back there and where you come from even? So I'm like, I'm going to complain on him because he pulled me over. He gave me a ticket and we going to court and I'm going to complain on him because he did everything to endanger my life. He took me out of the vehicle at night. He's a male, I'm a female. I don't know what he's gonna do. I even said to him, I said, "Are you gonna shoot me? Why are you getting me out the car?"
Oh,
He
wow.
put me between a police car and my vehicle. So with lights flashing, that is an attraction for drunk drivers. We were on
I would have been terrified.
8-lane highway, and I told him that I was a retired officer and that I had a weapon in the vehicle. Maybe that's why he took me out the car, because he was scared.
I was going to ask you that. Like, do you routinely tell them I'm a retired officer?
I do.
You know, like maybe it'll like change.
No. Right. Well, and usually they change their tune, and I don't like that either, because it's like, no, you need to treat me like Joe Citizen.
Right.
Don't treat me different because I know what you're supposed to do.
Right.
Treat me the way you're supposed to, because that's what you're supposed to do.
Right. But I would definitely put it out there. If I was a retired officer or officer, I would definitely put it out there, because you send
he had a female come and watch me.
My rights.
Right. He had a female come and watch me while I'm standing out there.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, y'all still got me in the middle of these two cars.
Mm-hmm.
You want me to get smashed and not be able to walk again? I told him, I said, y'all better hurry up, because I'm getting mad.
Yeah,
I told the supervisor out of what I should have done.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have done that. That's dangerous for everybody.
Yeah, you definitely need to fight that. I sure would.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, that's scary. That's scary. I don't even like being followed. Even if they just passing me, I'm like, I just automatically, even if I'm not speeding, I just slow down. Like, I'm not speeding, though, but you know.
And we know everybody does that. That's everybody's reaction. Even when you're the police, that's your reaction. Because you're like, what am I doing wrong? I don't need them to come bothering me. I'm just trying to go wherever it is I'm trying to go.
Right. But I think police get a kick out of it too. They got to, because I know
sometimes they do. Sometimes they do. I've gotten on the freeway. This was when I was working, and I know this officer was just messing with the people on the road. Mm-hmm. So I just sped up, and here he come. He came and got me, and he was like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Man, people got places to go. You all in the front of the line. You're not even doing the speed limit. Everybody behind you stacking up." He was like, "Where you work at?" So I told him. We laughed it off, and he went on. I said, "No, man, get off I said, "You ain't supposed to be on the freeway. You're supposed to be in the neighborhood. So get off the freeway and go do some real police work."
Yeah, go police the neighborhood, police the community.
Right. I said, "You ain't stopping traffic. You not a radar unit. Get off the freeway. People got places to go." He laughed it off and thought it was funny, but
that's too funny. But yeah, I was gonna bring up the fact that when we were talking about Rodney King, one of the things that's different now, of course, is modern technology. Law enforcement have cameras, and they could, capture footage of their arrest and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Now, although a lot of money is spent to provide every officer with a camera, do you feel like it's really making a difference when using cameras? Because even with bystanders using cell phones, it still seems like cameras aren't the answer enough of the times.
Well, some of the problem becomes because when I was in the academy, they told us, now everybody didn't have a camera on their cell phone, but they told us somebody is always watching. Mm-hmm. And so that blue shirt is going to get you the attention you did not want. So just know that somebody's always watching, and don't do the things that you're not supposed to do. Mm-hmm. Now, the beauty and the curse of the body cameras is, one, they have to turn it on, and a lot of the departments have mandated that the officer has to turn it on. Some of them, it comes on automatically. Mm-hmm. Get out the car.
Oh.
The problem becomes nobody looks at it. Mm-hmm. So they look at it and they don't do nothing about it. Because that's a whole nother 2 jobs. With being a supervisor on the street, it's a whole lot of stuff you got to do. And I can't imagine kind of like cameras when I was on the streets as a supervisor, but I can't imagine having to download that footage and look at I think I had 12 officers or something. I had to look at all their body cam footage. But and I was somebody. But you might have did something to somebody and not arrested them. You might have just beat the hell out of them and let them go on their way. But
right. So I was going to ask you that, like, as far as like when you were a sergeant, it had to be difficult. You trying to man every officer, and like with the footage on the cameras, is it kind of like like a store. They don't check the cameras unless something happened or unless the police come and say we got a warrant to check your cameras. Is that usually how it goes?
They're supposed to, as I understand policy in Houston, they're supposed to look at the footage every day. But of course, I can't possibly probably look at the footage every day on the day that you turn it in. So there's going to be a delay in me getting to the footage. Now, what you're supposed to do is tell your supervisor if there's something on there they need to look at.
Okay.
Like you arrested somebody or you hurt somebody, so that they can go and look at it, because they're going to have to supplement the report or do some injury paperwork or something. So, just it's like when you tase, when they first came out with the tasers. If you tase somebody, then the supervisor got to go to the scene, and it's a whole nother report they got to do related to you using that use of force, the injury that was caused, and what's happening with the prisoner. The same as when you put somebody in jail. Somebody needs to go and read their report and make sure that that person that's sitting in jail moves their way through the process like they're supposed to, instead of just sitting there and ain't nobody paying attention to, are they in jail? Is anybody gonna do anything? Anything. So the one thing, and I've said this for a long time, the biggest problem in law enforcement is lack of supervision. Everybody wants to be paid to be a supervisor, but nobody wants to be a supervisor because it's work. Quite frankly, it's a lot of work. If I tell you all the paperwork and everything that I have to do being a supervisor, and then I still got to go out on the street and make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, you ain't got no downtime. It's a lot of, it's like being a mama.
Right.
Who want to be that? Who want to do that?
I know. I want to do the kid. I want to have all these kids, but I don't want to discipline. I don't want to,
Right. And so,
let me ask you this. As far as like how you were saying, like, if you got a lot of police officers, a lot of cameras, it is a lot, to look at the footage. But let's say people finally get around to looking at the footage, and then months or weeks go by, and what's the routine procedure? What's the normal procedure if you were to find out that somebody did something wrong to a citizen, whether it was hit them or being a little forceful or for no reason, and then the person who it happened to never even come forward?
Right.
Like, what's the routine? What's the procedure in that case? Like, what should happen generally? Because we get a lot of cases where a lot of things happen, and then as soon as somebody dies or something like that, they're looking all the way back in their files, and they realize all this other stuff that led up to what's happening now.
Well, and unfortunately, some of that stuff is what they want to term the thin blue line. So most of the time, the supervisors know who your problem employees are, but are you willing to deal with them? Sometimes not. Sometimes they just pass them on to another supervisor, or pass them on to another station, or pass them on to another job. But what should happen when you find something that's wrong, whether the person came forward or not, as a supervisor and following policy, you have a duty to do something. Now, sometimes people get mad because there may be discretion in what you do. So you might write the person up, you might just talk to them, you might file a formal complaint.
Okay.
It's up to you and what you say or what you deem is appropriate based on that person that did whatever. So like if that's one of your problem employees and they are always jumping on somebody, okay, if you didn't talk to them about it before, then it's time to go on and file a formal complaint. A friend of mine called me the other day, and he was telling me about some stuff that they saw on some camera footage, and he was like, well, what would you do? I said, man, come on now. Now, he was one of my cadets when I worked at the police academy. I said, you know what I'm gonna do. You got to tell it.
Right.
Like, yeah, I knew you was gonna say that. I said, yeah. I said, it's about integrity. Integrity is what you do when nobody's watching. So you must always fall on the side of doing what's right, even if it means somebody else got to get in trouble. I said, do you want to go home? But when I got promoted to sergeant, the chief said, when the officer gets in trouble, I'm sending the supervisor home too.
Oh.
I said, oh, no, that's not going to be me. If I have to help them fire y'all, well, I'm going to help them fire y'all because y'all have to do what's right.
Yeah, instead of passing.
And it could be something little. I mean, when I worked in jail, I had jail attendants that didn't want to let a guy take a bath. A bath. Do you hear me? And it was a cold shower. Man, when I got done with them, I told them, I said, let another prisoner tell me y'all doing something like that. They're like, oh, Sarge, you just need to stay off the floor. I said, no, apparently I don't. I need to talk more to the prisoners because y'all doing stuff that's unnecessary. The man asked to take a bath.
A bath, something.
Are you paying for the water? No, you're not. Do not do that to people.
Right. I mean, they got enough privileges taken away from them.
Right.
In jail. But
and the guy had been in jail. He had been in jail for a couple of weeks. And he just wanted to take a bath. I was like, I didn't know it was a cold shower at the time.
Yeah.
Deny the man a cold shower? I said, I would write you up.
And it's people like you that makes the good cops. Like we always asking where are the good cops, and we know they're not all bad. You know, there's just a lot of apples, you know, out there scattered around, bad apples. But as far as like the thing with police who like see things going on. And they don't say anything, but they might be like, oh, I'm a good cop because I don't do what they do. But then there's so much backlash when police, I don't know if they call it snitching like they do in the streets in the police force. You know, if you...
they do, but look, this is my position and it's always been my position. And I tell people the police thing was a cover because before I became the police, I'm a tell. If you're doing something you're not supposed to, I'm going to tell. Actually, people I grew up with, they like, don't tell her that she don't tell. She can't be trusted. Don't tell her. You stand up for something or you lay down for everything.
Right. You got to stand up for it.
That's just the way it is. I mean, because to me, okay, so the police, we tell our kids to go to the police if you're in trouble.
Right.
So if you can't protect the weak person, because that's really who you're there to protect is the weak, then why you have a badge? You know, you need to give it back because that you're not there to be the muscle. You're not there to be the judge and jury. You're not there to be the executioner. You are there to protect and serve the people who give you the authority to use that badge and gun to police them.
In case you really need it.
Right. Well, and see, this is what people don't. I tell people, if you can go to a citizens academy, you should, because they teach you the things that police learn and have to make split-second decisions about. But when I was in law enforcement, and there still is, I'm sure, there's a continuum of it's called force.
Oh, okay.
So, of when you first learn how to be the police, you use your voice. They teach you to use your voice. So you tell somebody to stop with authority. Okay, that's easy. If they don't do that, then, maybe you stand, get in front of them or something.
Right.
But the things on your belt, your taser, your baton, your gun, those things are placed on your gun belt in different spots because you go to them one by one. You don't automatically go to the gun.
Oh, okay.
But a lot of people want to do that.
I didn't know that. So is the gun like in the back or in the?
It's on your side, but it's on your strong side, but it's there because that's supposed to be your last resort.
Okay.
Your voice is supposed to be one thing. Your presence, they call it command presence. Your presence there.
Your posture,
right. I've run into people when I'm not in uniform, and they're like, "Man, you look so much bigger when you're in uniform." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm big. I'm 5'4". I'm not big at all, but you give the people the impression that you're big by how you carry yourself and what you do, and I just really don't like it when police take advantage of weaker people or people who they're weaker because it's 4 of y'all and 1 of me.
Right.
So yeah, really,
That's
using
the batons. Like, remember back in the day, that was like the first thing. Like a baton, you might got your butt beat by that baton.
Right.
You could have been doing something wrong, but 9 times out of 10, they was gonna beat you, then they was gonna handcuff you and haul you down.
Right. And that's how it went. Your voice, you tell them to stop. Your command presence, you are a law enforcement, you in uniform. They're supposed to take note that you're there. And then if that doesn't work, if you have to put your hands on them, then you don't want to put your hands on them. You want to use the baton or something to give you some distance between the person. But you don't just automatically go from stop and then shoot. They don't even do that on TV. What are you talking about?
Or sitting on their neck with your knee for 8 minutes,
right.
6 seconds.
That's how it's like. What training did you follow? You made that training up, because that's not how they teach you to police.
And explain, like, okay, I know a lot of people said that was against protocol. That's not how he was trained. Then some people, they need more training. And I even saw the article that came out today where the supervisor or George Floyd, the people over him, they accused them of not giving him proper training. And so
the guy who
she said that
on his neck.
He knew.
Who didn't have a proper training?
Derek Chauvin. They try to say maybe it was lack of training or something like that, but Minneapolis Police Chief Madera Arradondo said that he knew what he was doing because he had taken specific training on preventing positional asphyxiation or suffocation. So they said the chief in Minneapolis said it was murder. It wasn't a lack of training.
Look, we learned about positional asphyxiation 15 years ago, probably. And most of it came from sitting the prisoner in the car with his arms behind their back, and they couldn't breathe because at the time the seats weren't made. Like now they contour the seats for somebody who's handcuffed. Well, the seat used to be a regular old seat. Or they would hog tie the person, what they call hog tie, where they tie their hands and feet together and lay them in the back seat. And then they found out, okay, that's not good because people can die when you leave them like that for too long.
Right.
They outlawed that here, if not 15 years ago, 20 years ago. We ain't did that in forever. Since I was on the streets as a police officer, that was in the 90s. So those people knew what they were doing.
Oh, yeah.
And look, training does no good if you don't use it.
Exactly.
So it doesn't matter how much he was trained. If he do something else, then it doesn't matter how much he was trained, right? Because he clearly know you standing on somebody's neck with your hand in your pocket. That's what I was just amazed. I'm like, he got his hand in his pocket like he's standing up.
Exactly.
I'm like,
I cannot get
that. Officers are protecting him from standing there with his hand in his pocket on that man's neck.
I cannot get that picture out of my head. The smug look on his face and on his partner's face, the little short Asian
guy,
But Derek Tao, Thomas Lane, all of them is basically being charged for the same thing right now. And the chief said he murdered them, but the rest of them basically allowed him to murder him. So
and it's called, look, it's the same as if you the getaway driver in a bank robbery and they kill somebody, well, you killed them too.
Exactly.
So it's no different. I agree with the chief. It's no different at all, because no matter what, even as a police officer, even if y'all are arresting somebody, you have the same duty of care to make sure that person is not injured as the person who's injuring them.
Yeah.
And you also have the same authority, if you will. I mean, look, I was writing tickets, riding with somebody, and this guy, he really liked to write tickets. And one of the guys that we caught, he's like a DA or some big time attorney. He used to teach us at the police academy. And he ran red lights. He had like at least 3 or 4 tickets we could have wrote him for. And when I realized who he was, I was like, dude, we can't write him. You kidding? He a 3-hitter quitter. I said, no, we gonna let this one go.
Oh.
He said, you crazy. So we stopped him. He did finally stop because he probably was going to court.
Yeah.
He's a big time attorney.
Uh-huh.
He told him, he said, my partner said, we can't write you no tickets.
Oh,
But,
he's pissed.
so the man got out. He got out of his car and he said, he looked at me, he said, thank you.
And he probably
I was a younger officer. He didn't remember him.
Mm-hmm.
But I remembered him when he taught us the penal code.
Yeah.
Said, oh no, we can't give him no ticket. He
Mm-mm-mm.
was like, you kidding? I said, no, we have to go find another one. Come on, let's go set back up. We're gonna try it again. This one gotta go.
And speaking of teaching and training, they did say that the policies changed back in as far as Minneapolis. The policies had changed back in 2014 to explicitly require moving an arrestee from a prone position to a recovery position when the maximum restraint technique is used and require continuous monitoring of it. Okay,
Exactly.
What do you think was going on in Derek's head while he was
intentional
with his hands in his pockets?
It was intentional. No, it was intentional. He lost sight of what his job was. I don't even know what the Floyd guy did that brought him to the police station in the first place.
Do you think it got anything to do with them working together in the past? Because remember they said they knew each other and they had worked together for years at the same club. Yeah, they used to be. Derek was a security guard, an off-duty security guard, and George was a bouncer. They worked at the same club for years. So when he arrived on that scene, he knew who he was.
Well, I don't know that. Look, but still, why you want to kill the guy?
That ain't that a weird coincidence, though?
It doesn't make any sense. I mean, y'all supposed to be working together, not against each other.
Exactly. And I'm like, who does that? Like, if you and I work together, and I mean, I arrest you, and we've been working together for years, we got some type of something, even if we weren't best friends.
Right.
I can't imagine myself killing one of my coworkers. I mean, just
the
way that happened. So that's why I said it's such a coincidence. It's very crazy.
He must have had it out for him,
That's what I think.
Long ago.
That's
maybe
what
maybe they got into something before when he first got there or something, and he never let it go.
Yeah.
But
that's what a lot of people think now. That's what a lot of people think. But I can't wait till court. I cannot wait.
Well,
I'm going to look in the TV
I just hope the jury does what they're supposed to do and send him to jail instead of letting the police having the get out of jail free card in the past.
I hope
that they oftentimes do, because it's just it's just time out for all of that. It's just too much.
And I think if these juries, and I don't know what be going through the head of the juries either, but a lot of time when they get off, you basically saying this can keep happening because in some of these instances, it's just no justifiable.
Right.
At all. No justified reason at all. Like this last incident with George Floyd. They had him on the ground, 3 men sitting on his legs, sitting on his hips, sitting on his neck.
Right.
What's he gonna do?
Right. And when he stopped fighting, I mean, why didn't y'all?
They was like, he ain't moving anymore. He ain't even moving anymore.
Right. I saw that video too. When he stopped moving and they still didn't do anything.
Now, how do you feel about this? Okay, I have to agree. I kind of was like, I know you have to put yourself in people's shoes. So you can't always say what people should do. But a lot of people saying the people standing by should have made some type of distraction, maybe threw something, maybe. What do you mean about the bystanders stepping in? Like
the bystanders?
What they were supposed to do, which is just stand there and scream and take pictures, or do you? I don't know.
Well, I mean, I don't know. It would have took it would have took a couple of them jumping on him for them to get off of him. And now we can say, yeah, they should have, because screaming didn't do anything.
Nope. And they were really emotional. I mean, they were so emotional. I was crying before he even died. I was in tears just watching, like, these people are screaming, they're begging, they're pleading for this man's life who they don't even know.
But what I don't understand is why nobody went and pushed the officers.
That's what we were saying. Like, you couldn't push them. You couldn't.
I mean, 2 or 3 of y'all go jump on them or something. And I know people are afraid of the police, and they're like, well, we told them. And I'm sure they'll say, well, we didn't expect them to just ignore us. Right. But the problem of that is, like you said, because the police and policemen who behave like this, to me, they're so arrogant about their misbehavior. Yeah. Because they ain't been slapped and told, no, you can't do that.
Right.
So maybe when they get to jail, maybe they'll figure it out. But
when they get to jail, honey.
Like I've heard that guy, he done been in a whole bunch of trouble.
Exactly. That's what I was saying when I was talking to you earlier about what's the procedure normally, because so many people usually have a lot of stuff under their belt by the time it gets to this type of case, the murder. Right. Like, there's been things in the past, like there was a black guy who had came on the media and said that man, Derek, tried to kill him years ago. Right. And didn't do anything about it.
Right.
So,
but did he complain? Probably not.
I don't. And see, that's another reason why I say them cameras, do they routinely look at the footage, even if there's no complaints or no incidents? Because I think they really should. Maybe they need a special department.
They are supposed to look at it, because like you say, even if it's weeks later, months later, you could still look at it and find that the officer has done something. But it sounds like he was just doing whatever he was doing. They knew he was doing. They knew he was misbehaving.
Yep.
But like a lot of departments, they chose to placate or try to brush under the rug his misbehavior, and so now it's just gonna cost them millions.
It's gonna cost them a lot,
because they should not have done it. He probably should have been fired ages ago.
And you know what? I wonder if
he was a black man or a black officer or anything but a white officer, he probably would have been fired a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
So
goodbye.
It goes back to what I say about, nobody wants to supervise, or who knows, maybe his cousin is the chief, or I don't know, maybe he's got some get out of jail free card that he gets in trouble all the time. Every department has them. It's an officer that gets in trouble all the time. And it's like, who does he know? What if he has something on that they won't fire him?
Well, you see, his brother-in-law was the Asian. I mean, so he got connections.
Right. And usually that's what happens. You get, I guess, people in your clique that protect you and help you do the dirt that you do. But in the end, you just gonna all get in trouble.
Yep. Now, do you think that, like, say for instance that guy, and let's say for instance everybody down the road that he did something to, do you think that they could file like a civil, like a
class action or something?
Class action lawsuit?
I don't know that it'd be class action, because that's usually a federal type law. But I don't know, maybe because their civil rights were violated. It would take an attorney to do that. But I think a lot of them may go back and complain and file a lawsuit as far as past injuries, especially now that it's come to the light that nothing ever happened to him. And so y'all just keeping a bad guy around, and y'all know he was bad. So I like to see how the Minneapolis Police Department going to divorce themselves from that one. But
me too. Well, there's one more thing I wanted to talk to you about. I wanted your opinion on, and that happens to do with the former Buffalo, New York was it Buffalo, New York? I think Buffalo, New York. Police
Uh-huh.
officer Carol Horn. She was a
Mhm.
20-year vet of the Buffalo Police Department, and in 2006, she had stopped a fellow officer by the name of Greg Kowski, something like that, who
Mhm.
had a chokehold on a black suspect. And as a result of stopping him from choking him, she got fired. The police department brought disciplinary charges against her and fired her 2 years later in 2008, months before she was eligible to receive a full pension, because she was at like the 20-year.
Mhm.
The cop who she was choking, the black man, the cop who was choking the black man later sued her and her lawyers for defamation. And now she's fighting for her full pension and pushing to pass a Carroll's law where it protects police who intervene from being retaliated against. And I think we need something like that.
Yeah. I have never heard of police. I mean, why you need a law to protect the police from doing their job, I don't know. And I'd like to know what was the background and how was she wrong for stopping him from choking somebody, a suspect, a prisoner?
That's what I want to know, because they said the man wasn't doing nothing wrong, and she had requested that her case be reviewed by an independent arbitrator, and the arbitrator recommended termination after lengthy hearings, and the police commissioner at the time followed that recommendation. I don't get it.
You know, and arbitrators, you know, they go with whoever's paying their salary, unfortunately. So I'm not sure why she asked for an independent arbitrator. Maybe she thought she was going to get a better deal than if she had used a department-sponsored arbitrator.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the case. And unfortunately, I don't know what, maybe she had to go to arbitration, because it sounded like she should have went to litigation. Because if the arbitration was binding, that's why she didn't have, nowhere else to go. But I'm gonna have to look into that case, because I'm like, okay, so what did she do that now she's wrong?
Right, and I think it's like so many, and I think that's normally why so much brutality from police officers keep happening, because the police know that they're supposed to protect and serve us, but when it comes to protecting us from their fellow officer, like policing the police,
right?
Police each other. They don't do that for fear of backlash.
They don't, but some do. And I was telling you about an instance when I was working at the station, and a guy had brought a prisoner in. Now, I could already tell that him and the prisoner had probably already had it out, because the guy was, he was hot, he was dirty, his shirt was gone, and the man asked me for a drink of water. So I got him a drink of water, but I just got the water, I sat it up, it had a straw so he could drink out of it. And I turned to do something, and the officer who put him in the cell snatched the water and threw it in the trash can, and he started yelling at me. And I told him, he said, that same prisoner will spit that water in your face. I said, no, he'll spit it in your face, because I didn't do anything to him. I said, now touch something else I give a prisoner. Touch something else. I said, because you're going to be fighting with me next. And he went to go say something to the sergeant, and the sergeant was like, look, if she don't book him, I don't know what to tell you, because I'm not going to tell her to do it, because you shouldn't have been doing nothing. Shouldn't have been taking the cup from him. If she gives him the water, then that's on her. And if she tell you she's not going to book him, then you're going to have to take him downtown. And the officer was mad, but I tell you what, he didn't do nothing else.
Some people just love using a muscle. They just love using a muscle, and they take that power, that they take that badge to a whole nother level.
But see, they taking the whole interaction personal. This is work.
Right.
So, okay, you caught him, because I said to the guy, I said, okay, now you done, right? You're not going to be fighting nobody. He's like, I'm done, ma'am. Can you just give me some water? Okay, fine. And I just always talk to people. I've arrested a big guy before, and I'm like, he's like, what you going to do? I said, we can do it hard or do it easy. You can turn around, put your hands behind your back. I put the cuffs on, or I get on the radio, a bunch of people come over and beat you up, and then you turn around, put your hands behind your back. It doesn't matter to me which one you want to do. He just turned around, put his hands behind his back. Like, she might really get on the radio and have some people come beat me up, but he didn't think nobody was gonna kill him. So I just think we don't want to listen to people any much, and we're not as tolerant as people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody wants to just use force instead of using words and trying to understand. Because even anybody in jail, they have a story. They have, you know, they want to tell their side, even if they will admit they were wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But they just want you to listen to their side.
Yes.
And the police have gotten away from the whole community policing and trying to connect with the community. And they've gone to this whole military type thing where, you know, like we some Gestapo, and it's like, no, that's not our role. And that's not.
We don't see them in the neighborhoods anymore. We don't see them, how they used to say, walking the beat back in the day.
Even when I before I left law enforcement, you know, these young people, they don't want to touch nobody, so now they got gloves on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what is you doing? You look ridiculous. Those gloves are dirty and contaminated. So what are you got to wash the gloves or take? I said, y'all didn't just lost y'all mind. Y'all crazy. Y'all parents didn't raise y'all right. Y'all don't got no sense. You wash your hands. That's why we got corona right now, because they won't wash the doggone hands and want to wear dirty gloves.
Let me ask you one last question, and then we're gonna wrap it up because we at an hour mark, and I don't want to keep you too long. Okay. And again, I do appreciate your time. Now I hate to say that a lot of officers join the force because they want to. Like some people say, oh, they just join the force because they want to get rid of certain people. You know, they want that badge, they want that gun. Why do you think a lot of people really join the force? Because as you say, and a lot of people say, a lot of them ain't even courageous enough to have the job.
Some of them, a lot of people join because of family. You know, like a lot of people, you know, they are career police officers. Like they granddaddy, they daddy, uncle, everybody was in law enforcement. Mm-hmm. You know, that's not my case. I don't even like the police. I still don't like the police. I was in the police for 27 years. I don't like the police because the police in Omaha were terrible. They were terrible. They were always harassing people. And even when I come back now, my aunt lives at 30th and Bedford. I can stand there and watch no less than 6 police cars come from every direction. And I'm like, where are y'all going and what are you looking for? There's nothing going on this corner.
Right.
But they'll come from this way and this way. And I'm like, and that's when the guy at Westroads was out there with the doggone shotgun shooting Westroads. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, so you down here in North Omaha where there's nothing going on, and the man is at the Westroads
out there killing everybody.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. But it's a mindset because they want it to be something that it's not. People are not. I just don't think that people are. They're just not as tolerant. They're not really trying to understand people. They're not trying to get along with people.
Right.
And I don't. Some people don't want to be the police, but they can't do nothing else. Their family want them to do it, and so they're just like stuck. Like, well, I'm just here. I did it for the money.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why I think we need more ladies on the police force, because I feel like we need more people with more compassion.
Right.
A lot of people join the police force just because, like you said, it's a family tradition, or they feel like they're forced into it by their forefathers or whatnot.
Right.
Or, you know, because
a lot of people, you know, they get a kick out of being the police or carrying a badge and a gun. Uh-huh. I mean, okay, but carry it the right way. If you're gonna carry it, then carry it and honor the people who came before you.
Right.
Don't give us the badge of shame because you acting like you ain't got no sense.
Exactly. I agree. Well, is there any last minute words you want to say for either regarding police or regarding the community's outlook of the police?
I hope that that every person, because there's a lot of videos on there and police brutality and everything, know that there are a lot of police officers that are doing good. And I'm glad that there's a highlight of the ones that are doing bad, and maybe we can get rid of them, and the juries will do their part to punish them and send them to jail where they should be with the other criminals that they put there. But know that most people get into the profession because they are honorable and they really do want to protect and serve.
Yeah, I agree. They're not all rotten. Because I know some good ones.
Right.
Good ones, and I ran into some where I'm like, let me get away from you.
It's
but
just like people. There's some good people in the world. There's some bad people in the world. So.
Yeah. You're right. You're right. Well, again, I want to thank you so much, Tracey, for your time and coming on the Hood Table this evening. We so appreciate you. We appreciate your outlook and your opinion, you know, from a retired sergeant's point of view. So with that said, everybody make sure you like the video, share the video. Please share the video and also subscribe to the Hood Table if you're not already subscribed.
All right.
And retired Sergeant Tracey Richardson. Thank her for joining us. We out. Deuces.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.